Welcome to mographplus.com. I'm going to start by importing the logo from Illustrator to Cinema 4D. Now, simply you can select your logo here and go ahead to File, Save As, and let me just go ahead and go to my AI file folder, and I'm going to just name it main logo, save it, and then you're going to need to save it with Illustrator version 8. Hit OK. And okay, now the next thing, we can go ahead and open up our Cinema 4D, and from a file, merge, and let's go ahead to this folder here. I'm going to the AI file and select the logo. Make sure you have the connect spline disabled and hit OK. Now it will this way import the logo to Cinema 4D, and we have a null containing our 3 passes, which will basically use the second path, and you can use your own logo, and that's absolutely up to you. So now the next thing is basically to basically go ahead and create a 3D logo out of this spline. I'm going to go ahead and control drag this one to just copy it, and I'm just going to alt double click on this traffic lights to hide them, and now we just have this path. I'm going to rename it to main logo. Okay, and then simply go ahead, right click, click on this bar here, generators, hold down alt and click on extrude. And this way we're going to have an extrusion. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and let's go to something like 65. Looks like to be quite enough in this case, even 70. Okay. And then I'm going to my caps. Make sure you have the fillet caps for both sides. Okay. And I'm going to something like maybe 5 centimeter, 5 steps, 4 centimeter, and 5 steps, 4 centimeter for both sides. And if you go and take a look, you can see we have a good sort of logo here that we can simply use it in Realflow to our simulation. If I hit N and then B to go to my garage shading lines, here you can see the shortcuts. I really don't like the way the polys are aligned here. I like to have a better topology. You can see we have this big polygon here and these smaller polygons here, and I really want to have a much more equal topology along the logo. So I'm going to go ahead and first of all go to the main spline. I'm going to change the intermediate points from adaptive to subdivided, and go to something like let's go to 5 centimeter and see what we're going to have. I'm going to go to my extrude, change the type from n-gons to quadrangles, and then enable the regular grade, and again 5 centimeter here also. I think 5 centimeter is a bit overkill for this, so I'm going to go to my spline and change the maximum length to something like 10 centimeter, and for the extrude again 10 centimeter here. I think that would be enough for this case. And yeah, and just go ahead to the object tab and change the amount of subdivision from 1. Let's go to maybe 5, or I think this is a good amount. I'm gonna go to something like maybe 8. Okay, that's enough. Now I want to go ahead and let's go to extrude main logo, and the next thing is to basically convert this extrusion to a simple poly object in order to be able to import it inside Realflow and import it to Realflow, because if we import it, we can actually import the extrude directly as SD into Realflow, but it kind of will have some problems because of the way extrude works inside Cinema 4D, and it would be better to actually convert it to a simple poly object and then export it as SD to Realflow. That way we are sure that we are not going to have any problem with our poly. So I'm going to select the extrusion, again control and drag to have a copy, and rename this to poly extrude. Okay, and that's going to be our main extrude, which I'm going to actually hide it again, and I'm going to hit C on this extrude and control click on this plus so we can see the whole hierarchy. I'm going to middle click on the parent so children will be selected, and then I'm going to object and connect object and delete. This way we're going to have just one simple shape, but the problem right now is the polys are not exactly connected. If I select this polygon and move it, you can see there is this gap here. In order to go ahead and solve this problem, I'm gonna hit Control Shift A to deselect everything, and then right click and go to the optimize, and this way if you select one of these polys you can see it is connected, and this is what exactly we want. Okay, the first thing, I'm going to save this file here. So file, save as, in the C40 files, let's name it, I'm gonna just go ahead to 0 to 0 2 for the moment, save it. Okay, now the next process will be to actually import this logo inside Realflow. And for this, I'm going to go to the plugins, go to the Realflow, and then Realflow SD exporter. Okay, you need to actually download this plugin from Realflow website if you don't have them. So Realflow SD exporter. And then before that, I'm going to go ahead and do a few changes in my Cinema 4D files. I'm going to hit Control D to go to my project setting, change the FPS in this case to 24. I'm going to go to have a timeline, something like 1000 frame, just a good measure. We might not use all of it, but I think it's a good idea to have more than what we need, and then we can reduce if the needs be. So I'm going to my plugins. I'm just going to actually rename this and remove this one from here. Poly main logo, great. And save the file one more time. And then I'm going to plugins, Realflow SD exporter. I'm going to change the end frame to about 1000. Here I have the poly main logo, select it and click on add, so you have added it to the exported objects list, and then you can define where you want to save your SD file. I'm going to, before actually saving this, I'm going to create a Realflow project so I can save this file in Realflow. Okay, so I'm going to head to open up Realflow to create a project in Realflow. I'm using Realflow 2014. File, new project. Then in location, click on this bar. I want to go to the Realflow sim and select this folder as my folder. And then define a file. Let's go to the whatever you feel happy with it. I'm gonna name it fluid sim or whatever you like. Okay, and then create a new project. Okay, and then back into Cinema 4D, I'm gonna click on this and go to the Realflow sim that we created. We have a folder. You can see we have a series of folder for particle meshes, objects, and stuff like that. We want to save our SD file in this object folder, so we can simply open it up inside Realflow. So go to object, and I'm naming it the main logo, again SD, or just main logo. Save it and click on export. It's gonna take a bit of time, but you can see it's in progress. We have about 1000 frame, and after it's finished, there we go. Okay, fantastic. I'm gonna save this file again back to Realflow. You can go ahead and actually, in the geometry tab, import, and there we go. Here's the SD file that we exported out of Cinema 4D, and then I'm gonna hit open, and here's the logo that we have, and we're going to be working with it. In the next lesson, we start the simulation inside the Realflow, and see you there.